What's going on, everybody? This is Danny. Just a reminder from Homestead DNA. So we haven't put up a video in many months. Doesn't mean we haven't been busy, but we just really have been bad at doing this whole YouTube thing. But that's okay. It's not a job. It's just something we do every once in a while. But I wanted to give you guys an update since we haven't done it in a long time. It is January, so we're getting to the point where we're kind of getting back out in the garden a little bit. Mostly to clean it up from last year, so I'll show it to you. So here it is in all its glory. Produced a ton of food last year, and then we just let it all kind of die back, and the weeds kind of took over in some places, and we just let them die too. So we picked up some marigolds and stuff today. But we have our chickens out here. Give you a quick update on the chickens. They're all doing good. Survived the coldest weather so far. We got down to 6 degrees. Check them out over here. They're taking their little dirt baths. Burying themselves. They like to do that. But yeah, they're doing good. We put them in this plot here. This is where we actually planted corn last year. We really hadn't fertilized this too much. So we said, you know what, it had grown up. And so we said, let's put our chickens in here. So it looked like this, kind of just weedy, grassy mess. And now it looks like that, which is cleaned off. They do a really good job of cleaning off everything and then fertilizing it. So they've been here for a few weeks. We're going to move them over here into this garden bed next. And we pulled the tarp back. We had the tarp over this pretty much for the second half of summer here, or I guess fall probably. But we tarped all this off. That's where we had our potatoes, and we had a bunch of other like spring cool weather vegetables here. But it looks pretty good. I mean, honestly, we have never put anything really on this, not much at least. And just by putting the tarp down, my foot can now move it. This was all just clay, but just letting things decompose. It's not very deep before you start hitting some clay, but this is definitely better than it was. Not perfect, not great, but stuff will grow in it. So we're going to move them over here, and we're going to put them on this long stretch, and then we're going to move them over there on that long stretch. This is where we grew our watermelons and pumpkins last year. We had more success with our watermelons than we did our pumpkins, but we still had pretty good success all around. But they all died back and rotted away really well, so they're ready to be swept up and get this bed cleaned up. We're probably going to swap them. We should. So we'll probably do some watermelons either over here or maybe back up here. I'm not really sure where we're going to put everything yet. That's part of the design. We grew loofah last year. As you can see, we still have a ton of loofah. For those who don't know what loofah is, here's an example. Laying on the ground. It's basically a sponge, a natural cucumber sponge that drops seeds out. Tons of seeds. We could probably sell those seeds if anybody wanted to buy them, but we have so many, I'm not wasting any for sure. So, yeah, it's kind of neat. You get it wet and it acts just like a good sponge. You can see all the peppers that we had that we just never even picked. We had so many peppers, it was just prolific all through here. We got a lot more than we need to. And then our tomatoes, just the vines left. You see how tall they got? They got all the way up above my head pretty far. Probably over, besides them curling over, probably 8 feet tall. And then our okra here is still standing. So we'll let some of those dry. I'm going to actually reseed our okra this year. Last year I used seeds that we had gotten from the year before, but they cross-pollinated, and so they were just very variable as to what you get. So I'm going to try to get back to one stable variety of okra so that I can then save the seeds without the fear of them cross-breeding with each other. So I'll probably stick with the standard Clemson spineless because that's, you know, good. I don't know, I may change, but I really only want to do one type of ochre this year to be a little bit more consistent. I've been working, so work took a lot out of us and took a lot out of probably the channel as well. But here's something I just did. I mean, literally a few minutes ago. Is on the shed here, I put a gutter. So we got this IBC tote from a neighbor of ours. Said he wasn't using it and let us use it. And I managed to move it over here and put a little drain off of here. This is a little bit rigged up, but it'll work. Into the top of this, and we're going to try to have water and feed here instead of having a, you know, bucket water from the house. We can actually get it out of here in our rain collection system. So it's a really nice day today. It's in the 50s. Not a whole lot of wind, which we've had a lot of. I did get this for Christmas, which is kind of neat. It's a Allway solar power battery. And I've been out here having it charge my speakers and everything and getting what little sunlight I can get out of it. There is a major thing that we have purchased, a couple of them actually, that are game changers for us in some ways. And I'm going to show you the first one. It's right here behind the camera. Boom! Side by side. This is a Massimo T-Boss 550 F, I think it is. I can't remember what it is, but F, all that really means is it has this larger steel tailgate instead of the smaller one. This actually, all these sides come off and it becomes kind of a flatbed trailer, which is really, really useful. It's actually how I got that tote up on that side. I just backed it up, put it on here, drove it over. Can't pick that up myself, but I did it with this. It's pretty sweet. It's not the, you know, the greatest one you can buy, but we got it for fairly relatively cheap. They're all expensive, but relatively cheap considering. Yeah, it comes with a winch. It's a 3,000 pound winch, nothing amazing. It's got, you know, independent suspension on everything. Not a ton of horsepower, but enough for what we're going to use it for. I think it can tow like 1,500 pounds or something. But yeah, it's got, you know, 4-wheel drive. You can lock the differential and all sorts of different features that way. But we really like the interior of it. Honestly, these are super comfortable seats. It's got a cup holder that flips up. And so all the other ones that we saw had this really, you know, a lot of them had, you know, either something in the middle, there's an armrest that would kind of get in the way. So this actually allows you, really, you could put 3 people in here fairly comfortably, honestly. But it is a 2-seater. And then underneath here is where the motor's at, underneath the seat. So it's not in the way down here, which is nice. We've already used that space to carry stuff all the time. But yeah, I think it's got a roof on it and a windshield that came with it. We do kind of want to get an enclosure for it. Looking at the enclosures, I couldn't find one that exactly fits, so we might actually make our own. We'll see. But it's pretty sweet. Good. We love the colors too. Looks pretty awesome for whatever the looks are. Really all I care about is whether it will carry stuff and be useful on the farm, and it will. It will. Definitely. It's already been very useful. I actually got my truck stuck in the mud and this thing pulled me out. So it's got really sweet tires on it. Really good grip on them. Although they do tear up everything, but we don't care. We are not looking for a pristine yard. That's aeration is what that is. Look at it, aerating the field over here. Look, it's wonderful. We'll see what happens this year. You know, this is just to kind of get us back in the rhythm of making videos. It is interesting if you don't make videos, how sometimes you just get out of the rhythm and it's hard to get back into it. If you stop doing it, it's really hard to get back into it. So you got to keep it up. We're not going to post every day or anything like that, but we're going to try to be a little more consistent. And it's also really coming up on the time of year where things get a little bit more fun. You know, we start seeds, we start you know, preparing our garden. We do have probably a couple of different animal things this year that we're going to try. So we've got our 17 layer chickens that are giving us so many eggs. You know, in a time where eggs are crazy, we have so many of them. We're giving them away as many as we can, and we still can't do it. We're feeding the eggs back to the chickens. We just need to find a good place to sell them, I guess. But there's a hassle when you start selling things like that. So we'll see. For right now, we're just enjoying the abundance and our wise decisions last year to get chickens. Here's another thing that I got that has been super useful, and you should always have this if there are any husbands out there who are trying to convince their wives that they need it. They do. It's a trailer. 5.5 foot by, I think, 10 foot or something like that. Yeah, 10 foot. But yeah, I got a little trailer over here. I use it for, lumber mostly, but it actually, that side-by-side fit on it. Barely. I mean, barely. The back scraped a little bit right here on this thing, but it was on there. I mean, it's rated for it, so it was fine. But I don't know how that truck right there pulled it too. So just to be clear, that truck cost a third of what that side-by-side cost. So this beat up truck still got it though. Still did it. Good job. Look at that. Just throw some Rust-Oleum on there, you're good as new. Look. Still beautiful out here. We do have a lot of other things I'm going to show you inside, but that's going to be in the next video. So for this video, I want to thank you guys for watching the video, and sorry it took us so long to come back, but we just post when we post. But I do appreciate you guys, and hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.